So good morning guys, here we are again. Today I'm talking to you from the place I'm staying at. This is their rooftop garden. It's a lovely cool breeze up here, probably about 28 degrees Celsius. You'll hear the noises of Vietnam out there. There's some construction going on next door. You'll hear the traffic and the honking of the horns and life in general. So this little apartment here it's about 300 odd metres away from the beach. So it's a very easy walk for me to go down there in the morning, and we'll walk around my neighbourhood and get to know my neighbourhood and my neighbours. Yesterday I went to a sports bar, some fellow Kiwis there and quite a few Aussies. They like to watch their sport, of course. And this is a relatively reasonable place to stay. It's quite cheap. Lovely little apartment. I can cook there. It's got air conditioning, fan. I can cool the room down at night and then turn on the fan when I want to go to sleep. When you come to Vietnam, guys, just come as you can afford to. There's that old saying that if you don't spend your money, or if you don't travel first class, your heirs will. So if you can afford to do those tours, 10, 15 days, I think they're quite intense. There's a lot of travelling involved and you do get to see a lot of things, and you are very busy, then by all means do that. If you want to start a really nice resort, it might be on the beach here and they've got beautiful gardens and fabulous service and fabulous food, then of course you can do that as well. You know, if you have the money in the bank. If you have children or grandchildren that might want to travel, you can maybe show them this video and they can gather a few tips as well. I first began travelling over 50 years ago when I was like 32. I did a 2-year trip around the world, starting in Australia and then Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Burma and Nepal, India, Iran, Israel, all of Europe. Worked a little bit in the UK. Mainly because most of my life I've been self-employed, and at that time I was a general contractor and an agricultural contractor. I had trucks and tractors and the like. Working very long hours, of course, and as you have to do in a business. There's no such thing as an easy business, and it's gotten harder today with the way things are with taxes and employing people and rents and overheads. So it's not easy, but I had to pack it in for health reasons, you know. Diesel fumes and diesel, and that was having a bit of an effect on my health, so I sold up, packed it in, and that was the early days of travel, especially jet travel. And so I took off and we travelled around the world. Learnt lots of things at a young age, I guess, and it's always a good idea, I think, to travel a bit if you're young, but it's getting very hard to do that nowadays because you're spending money that you could put towards a home or assets or things like that, you know. Like I said, Vietnam is a bit of a cash economy, really. I have seen people in convenience stores that use that contactless payment system using their phone, but generally speaking, cash society, so you get your cash. Bring some of your home country's currency, which you can change at the airport into Vietnamese dong. And it's like a reserve currency, really. I keep it as a bit of a reserve currency. And then once you get your dong, you can, any ATM, you can withdraw money. They have a limit sometimes on the amount you can withdraw in a day. Some ATMs will give you 3 million, some 5 million. There can be a charge, but that's just part of travelling. And like I say, you can do that 3 times a day, so you can take out 9 million or 15 million. 15 million will probably pay for your apartment if you're looking for an apartment. Apartments generally only available if you're staying for a length of time. Hotels here will cost you about 600,000 dong per day if you want to live reasonably well. And hotels are okay, there's some lovely hotels, $30, $50, less than that sometimes, more than that of course. Service is fantastic, but if you're here for any length of time, then generally most people get themselves a little apartment, and you can find them with signs on the street, or you can go to a place like Aussie Bristow and he'll help you find an agent to find you an apartment. Travel around Vietnam is quite easy. If you're coming for a month or so, then just come to a place like Da Nang, and you can go to Hue and Hoi An, My Son and Hai Van Pass, Lang Co. Probably don't bother going there. There's other better places to see. Here you've got, you can do tours of course, if that's what you want to do, and it's quite often a good way to do it. Some are better done independently, like I did yesterday at the Cham Museum and what was around there. But you can take yourself up to Lady Buddha, which is I think 67 metre high, beautiful gardens, fabulous sculptures, a fantastic view looking back towards Da Nang. But don't forget that temple on the way. That's not on the tour, and you'll have to do that yourself. There's Marble Mountain, just out of town towards Hoi An. It's quite a interesting place. It's a bit of a thorn in the American side during the war. It's quite steep. There's some lovely temples up there, can get quite crowded. Better to go early in the morning. There's a lift up to the first level, but generally it's kind of worth it, yeah. Barnard Hills, where they have that famous bridge up there. Once again, if you do the tours, they tend to take you to other places first. You know, Da Nang is very famous for sculptures and beautiful sculptures, and you'll see them on the way out of town, and you can call in there by yourself and have a look around, even buy one if you want to. And they'll take you other places first, and then you'll eventually drive to 30 or 40 k's out to the Barnard Hills car park, and you'll get your ticket. And I'll just like to say, from the ticket office to the actual cable car, it's quite a long walk. So, and I haven't seen any electric carts that take people to the cable car. Maybe there is, but I haven't seen them, and I've been up there about 3 times. So it's kind of worth going. If you do a tour, that you'll get lunch and that up there. If you do it independently, then just get out there early, beat the crowds, go up in the cable car. You'll probably spend 3 or 4 hours up there. Quite often they have events up there, they have nice restaurants up there, kind of like a French village. It's interesting and worth doing. If you've got kids, take them up as well. Cable car ride up the mountain. Local area here, it really lights up at night, and there's hundreds of restaurants here and hundreds of hotels, and they're building new apartments all the time. You can walk around at night quite freely, quite safely. The roads are quite busy. The pavements are a little bit falling apart sometimes. A little bit of rubbish on the road, which is fine. Sometimes you have to walk on the street to get around motorbikes and cars that are parked there. But I walk into the traffic. I don't have it coming up behind me. And if you have to step aside, you step aside and let cars and that go past. But like I say, there's dozens of really, really good restaurants. You can dine out at a different place each night. It can be quite cheap. In fact, very cheap. You know, you can get a banh mi for 30,000 dong, and you can convert that into your own currency quite easily by just googling the currency calculators, you know. Yeah, travelling around Vietnam. So I have said to you that sleeper buses aren't for me, and they do have luxury buses, and they do have mini buses, or you can take a private car. But quite often flying is the best way to go. Domestic flights are quite cheap. You do have to have the hassle of going to and through an airport and boarding a plane, and sometimes delays. Generally speaking, they're on time, and then you can fly to a place up in the mountains where it's a lot cooler, called Dalat. A little bit hillier, but an interesting city. Like I say, it's you'll get the Vietnam experience, but in a cooler climate. So that might appeal to you as well. And like I've said before, from there you can take a car down to Nha Trang, which is a little bit like Da Nang. There's a multitude of different people coming here now from all over the world. A lot of Indians and people from South Korea and Taiwan and Europe, of course. Quite a few Russians are here. Kiwis, Aussies, Canadians, Americans. A whole hodgepodge. And because when you're walking up the street or up the beach and you're walking past people, you don't know where they come from or what their religion is or anything about them. You just walk by people, and very friendly locals. If you want to engage, then you can engage. And a smile goes a long way. And you'll find at your hotels there, the staff are very helpful and extraordinarily friendly. That's just the way of the Vietnamese people. That's their culture. They're very family orientated. They work together, they help each other, they don't believe in borrowing from banks, they believe in family first. So even out in the poorer areas of Vietnam, family first, and they're not unhappy, you know. It's surprisingly, they're very happy people, and they're moving ahead very, very fast. Very high rate of growth here, but they do work extraordinarily hard, and they have their own way of being, and you can actually learn from that way of being. You know, if you're here for any length of time, and I do recommend a length of time. It's when you come here. It's, taxis, I've said about taxis before. There's Grabs, there's private. There's Grab bikes, which I use occasionally. Generally the Grab taxis. You can download the Grab app on your phone. You can call a cab to your location. They're there very, very quickly. Get your hotel to call a Grab for you. But download the app, guys, and learn to do it yourself, you know. And then you can call a Grab, and they have a meter, and the travelling is by taxi is quite cheap. And a bike is even cheaper, but that's not for everybody. Backseat of a motorbike in the traffic. Yeah, there's so many places I really like and can recommend to you. If you have children or grandchildren you want to that are coming to Vietnam. I said previously you can do a tour from Hanoi, you can do a tour up to Ha Long Bay, and you'll get on one of those really, really nice boats, and you'll go out into the bay and you'll see all the fantastic limestone islands out there. Or you can go to Dragon's Bay and you'll Could still do a trip out and see the islands, but it's quite a relaxed, modern, nice place. And they've got some entertainment there that family or kids might quite like. Up with a lovely temple up there, and there's a big Ferris wheel thing up there you can take a ride on, and lovely gardens, fantastic view, massive great cable car. It's like a double-decker bus, you know, that crosses the harbour there to the far side where there's more entertainment. So you can easily spend 5 days up there. Sapa now, I think people are starting to use the train a bit more. It's a bit of a drive by car or bus, but you can do it by car or bus. Haven't been to Sapa yet, but apparently it's a really lovely place. But I have suggested if you're travelling independently and you go to Harlong and Dragons Bay, then you can go to Katbar Island for a day. That's another boat trip across amongst the limestone islands, and then go on down to Ninh Bình, which is absolutely beautiful, Tamcot, where the ladies will paddle you up the river using their feet, and it's, the boats go underneath mountains through caves and tunnels, and nice experience. And then you can come back to Hanoi and stay in Hanoi. Hanoi, they have the double-decker bus tours, which are quite good to do. You can hop on and off wherever you want. Hong Kem Lake's quite famous. You'll no doubt go there. There's the Old Quarter, the French Old Quarter. There's a woman's museum there. There's things to do and see in Hanoi, 3 days maybe. And then either take a train or fly to another destination. Ho Chi Minh City, crowded city, 10 million people. But once again, there's things to do and see. In the far south, you can fly down to Phu Quoc Island. It's getting quite busy down there now. But a point to remember, the off-season here sort of starts late May, July, August, September. So that's the off-season. That's when hotel prices and that are cheaper. End of September going into October, you're going to really get into the stormy rain. Last year I left here at the end of September, and a week later it was flooding around Hoi An and flooding here in Da Nang as well. High winds, knocking the place around a bit. So July through to mid-September, low season, and a little bit cheaper, not a bad time to come. Some people say don't come in Tet, because people go visit home and go home and all the rest of it. But I've been here in Tet, and that's like Chinese New Year, and I loved it. They have flowers everywhere and celebrations, and if you're in a hotel, you're not going to be left on your own. You're still going to be able to eat out and do your normal things. It's just it's when the Vietnamese have their holiday. So yeah, many of them do travel home, and but it's still fine, and it's a time, actually interesting time to be here. So don't get put off by the people telling you that Tet's not a good time to travel. It's sort of around February time, So check out Tet, Vietnam, and it'll tell you when it is, and the Chinese New Year and the celebrations and all the yellow flowers and the mandarin trees, and they give they give money to each other in an envelope. Yeah, it's okay. So don't let that worry you coming here in Tet. Only time I would suggest maybe not as September, October, late September, October, when the storms hit. I've been over to Cham Island, which is out of Hoi An. You generally have to do like a tour there. You have to organise something and catch a boat across, and the island's of interest. but they promote it as a snorkeling destination, and I did that. The snorkeling wasn't that fantastic, really. You know, um, do the trip, and if you want to do a snorkel, but the snorkeling it's not that great. But it's still worth doing. You know, go to Cham Island for a trip for a day. Might cost you 700 or 800,000, I think. 6, 7, 800. Your hotel can organise that for you if you're in Hoi An. If you do go to Hoi An, which I'm sure you probably will, I generally stay in a place halfway between Old Town and An Bang Beach, which is Tra Quay. Tra Quay are where the gardens are, both sides of the road, and that's where a lot of the fresh vegetables and that for the Hoi An restaurants come from. Lovely little place. There's not a lot of hotels around there, so you would have to book. You've got to explore around there. There's all sorts of secrets around all kinds of corners, and there's some fabulous cafes. And most of us are into coffee, but they grow cacao in Vietnam, and they can make some better than coffee. I tell you that now. They make salted cacao and avocado cacao and all kinds of, you know, coconut cacao, and it's really, really nice. So I stayed at a place called, I'm almost reluctant to tell you actually, because I want to go there shortly, and it might be booked out. So, nah, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to find it yourself. I want to go there soon. You lot might book it out. But anyhow, Tra Quay, I'll get there and I'll show you some secret places to go to that Joe Blow won't go to. The tourists won't take you there. Most hotels have bikes, you know, like ladies' bikes with a little basket on the front, and you can go for bike rides. Once again, early in the morning is better, a little bit cooler, maybe less traffic. You can't be a scaredy pants on the road, sorry. There's going to be a bit of traffic, but heaps of people do it. Not a problem. There's sort of a cycling lane there, so you can bike up to An Bang Beach very, very easily. You can cycle into Hoi An. You can use your Google Maps, of course. You can get to Old Town. And once again, I suggest when you do go to Hoi An and Old Town, go early in the morning. It's crazy at night. Thousands of people there. Crush, crush, crush. So go early in the morning, 8 o'clock. The shops are just setting up then. Old Town's like 3 parallel streets, so you can't get lost, you know. And you'll see some interest, as I say, the shops are opening, and 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe you've done your dash for the day and you can go back to your hotel and chill out, go back another day, and you'll find places that you like, and you might buy some souvenirs. And there's a lot of tailor-made clothing. It's famous for tailor-made clothing, Hoi An. You can get shirts and suits, and if you've got a wedding coming up, you can go and take all the groomsmen there and get 5 suits made, $250 probably US, tailor-made shirts, and you can get clothes made to your own design. They make shoes and that there. I walked around, I found out where the guys were making shoes, and they didn't mind me just sitting there and watching them, you know. They were fine. And there was a guy there, he was turning rings for, wood turning rings for lanterns. And I got some timber for him, and I'd done wood turning, and we started making some goblets and bowls, and I was showing him a bit of variation on his theme of what he could do, and maybe a way he could make some extra money on the side. You know, he's a very nice young guy, had a young family, young children. There's a big river runs through Hoi An. There's this really big village out on the island in the middle of the river that I watched them building it actually, and I thought, well, they're going to get flooded there, but apparently they don't. I've never been to it, but it's probably interesting. They have a great show there in Hoi An, sound and light show. Apparently it's very, very impressive. It's reasonably expensive to get in to that show. I can't remember the prices. If you have a family, it could cost you some money, but you're there maybe only one time, and I think you should go. You'd be a fool to miss it, so because you're maybe not going back, and it's an experience. So yeah, do it. So what else? Here from Hoi An, you can do a tour organised from by your hotel out to My Son, and it's a nice drive through the country. You'll see some nice things. If you go independently, it's a little bit far on the back of a motorbike, 30-40 k's. If you took a grab out there, it would cost you a bit, but so do tours, you know. But it's kind of worth going to see because it's a reflection of the Cham Museum. Also, you do a lot of bike riding around Hoi An, and you can do a lot of bike riding, especially if you're staying at the Trackway Gardens. There's lots of concrete pathways through the rice fields, and you'll just find places and stop off and come across unexpected cafes and lovely local people, and it's potentially changing your way of thinking, because in Western culture we don't work together as closely as Vietnamese people do. Families are quite often fractured, you know, which is not a good thing. We don't always get on with our neighbours or our siblings or our children even, you know. They have their own ideas on what they want to do. So yeah, you can potentially come back to your home country a softer, better person. So I hope the handy hints have helped. The next video, they say you shouldn't talk too long on these videos. People get bored with watching you, and they'll switch you off. So I don't want you to switch me off. Vietnam old-timers travel guide. What I want you to do is actually subscribe or like or follow, or however it works. I'm getting better at this YouTube stuff, finding out a few things. I asked a young lady yesterday about how I can edit, you know, and she showed me an app and that I could, rather than put out 3-minute videos, I can string 4 of them together and make it a 12-minute video. And I looked at it and tried it and couldn't quite figure it out, so I didn't employ it yesterday, so I kind of apologise for the shortness of some of my videos. But hey, keep on watching it, they're alright. I'll do another video after this one, and we can talk about other places. Oh, I'm not sure whether I mentioned Phu Quoc Island. A cool place to go. A couple of weeks. Best way to get there is to fly there. You can stay in the town for a while. Then in the south they've got Sun World, which there's a Vietnamese billionaire. He's building all sorts of places all over Vietnam that are attractive to tourists. You might find it a bit wishy-washy tacky, but the Sun World and the one place, Sun World, they've got some canals and gondoliers and sculptures, and there's a big building there built out of bamboo, and there's a nice temple there, and a little beach. You can go down to the little beach in Sun World. And then at the other end of the island, I think I've said before, they built this whole town with, it hails 50,000 people. There's about 10,000 living there. Nice waterfront walks. They've got the Kissing Bridge, There's nice convenience stores there. There's one of the biggest cable cars in the world is there. It's a fantastic ride across in the cable car to an island that's very suitable for taking your 8, 10, 12-year-olds across there, your kids, or if you're young at heart, then you can go there as well and enjoy the day. Yeah. What else? I'll think of things along the way and I'll pass them along to you in the next video. So after this video, yesterday you might have noticed I shared some personal things with you, and I read a bit from an essay that I've got here, 10 pages, and I did a couple of pages the other day, and I'll wrap this video up. And if you want to watch my next video, I'll read from the essay and a little bit more personal stuff maybe, and a couple of poems that I've written, and so I hope you will watch that as well, because I not only wanted to do the Vietnam old-timers, I also wanted to put out there my writing and thinking and poetry and painting. I'll find a way to get my paintings out to you at some stage, guys. Not quite sure how to go about that yet, but I will get there with that, and I'll share it with you down the track. Mechanical Man, Modern Minorities, Golden Earth and Future Shock, and I'll find a way to get that to you. And once again, I'm up in the lovely rooftop garden